403. The top part is about using order of operations correctly. So you always do exponents first, right? So let's look at 1 and 3, and then you can come back and try the ones up here. On number 1, first I would do this 3 squared, right? So now I have 1 plus 2 times 9. What's my next step on number 1? What am I going to do, the 1 plus the 2 or the 2 times? I have to do the 2 times the 9 next, right? So now I have 1 plus 18, and now I can find the final answer that was 19. Let's skip to number 4, or sorry, number 3, right below it, and then you can come back and try this section in a couple minutes. What does the negative do outside of the squared? What happens on number 3? It doesn't mean the same thing as -4 times -4. What does -4 squared actually mean? -16. Negative of the 4 squared. So you save the negative to the end if it's not in a parenthesis like this. So then we also talked about using function notation yesterday a little bit. So what is this asking you in number 7? Let's just do 7 and then you can do 8 in a minute. 7, they want you to take the 3 and do what with it? Plug it in for x up here in this equation, right? So I'm really going to do 3 times 2 cubed. And what is 2 cubed? I should do 2 cubed first. What is 2 times 2 times 2? 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. So I need to do 3 times 8 to get my final answer. And 3 times 8 is 24. So you can come back and try f of 0, and then you can just go ahead and plug them in with technology in 9 and 10. And then on the back page, it was having you practice the scientific notation. We're on page 403. Yeah. I'm skipping. I'm just doing a couple, and then I want you to try them for 5 minutes. If you forgot what we did, this is the back of 403. I just thought we could do like 11A and 12A, and then you can try the rest. 11A, how do I put that into scientific notation from yesterday? What do I truncate my number to be between? It has to be between 1 and 10, so I want to use 6.7. And what power of 10 do I multiply by? So I go up here and I swipe kind of the, 3 spaces to the right. So it'd be 10 cubed. And it's positive, so it's a positive 3. I mean, it's to the right, so it's a positive 3. All right, and then this one, they want you to actually do the problem out and write what the final number would be. So I'm going 8 kind of swipes to the right, and I already have these 2 numbers here. So how many zeros should I write down? If I've already gone 2 swipes to the right, I would need 6 additional zeros. Now I can go back and kind of put in my commas to show what the value of that number would be. Do people kind of remember that from yesterday from the notes? So if you took 5 minutes, do you think you could video anyway to Google Classroom? So can you check my work too? Make sure that I didn't make a mental math error, but this one should have been positive 9 minus 16, right? Negative 7. Yeah. And then this one should have been negative 16 together. This would be 5 times, the negative 2 is in parentheses, so 5 times 4 is 20. And then this one was 10. And then this became 3 squared, which was 9. So 10 times 9 was 90. Did we get that one okay? Then negative 64 minus 4 plus 13. Which one? Yep, so I do this, I do parentheses first. So I would have 10, and then I'd have 3, and then the 3 has to get squared. So to me, that's like one skill. If I gave you like 1 or 2 problems where you have to do it in the correct order, I'll probably throw one of these on there where that's a negative one, and I'll probably throw one like this on there where you're squaring it, not multiplying. Like you don't want to do 10 times 3. You've got to do your exponent before you multiply them together. So then skill number 2 is more like using technology, right? So 7 through 10 is what? No, you actually can do subtraction or addition left to right. But it shouldn't matter, should it? What'd you do? This first?
Yeah.
So if you had done it this first, this gives you what? 9?
Yeah.
Negative 64 plus 9 is negative 55, though. I think so. Here's the bottom of the paper. So if you need some help how to type in the exponents, we don't know how to do number 10 yet without technology, but we're going to learn today and Monday. Anything to the 0 power is always going to be 1. So it ends up being part of our pattern in our table that we have to kind of talk about on Monday. But this just ends up being 45 times 1. So it ends up being 45 minus 12 is 33. But those, you could plug it into the calculator using that upside down caret symbol. So skill number 2, can you use technology to evaluate exponential equations? So I think most of you can, or you just need help with the calculator skill. And then on the back page, the last skill from yesterday is just this top part, really. 11 and 12 would be the skill. 13 and 14 are just kind of like extra. I wanted to show you the trick, but it would be either a bonus or I'm not going to put it on the quiz. How to multiply and divide. So this was what? 6.7 times 10 to the third. 7.5. You could just write 10 to 10. You don't have to write 10 to the first. 5.1, and I'm going backwards, 4. And then this was, we did this one together, and then this one I went backwards, 3. So I think we're okay on scientific notation for the most part. So that will be on the quiz next Friday. We're going to practice this kind of next week. Here was my multiplying and dividing. So if you're not super strong on that yet, I wouldn't despair. 6.66 times 10 to the 15th, you're adding the 8 plus the 7 together. This one, you're adding the negative 3 plus the 6 together, and you multiply the numbers and add the exponents. Here, you're dividing the numbers. 24 divided by 8 is 3. I subtracted the exponents. Here, I divided, and then I subtracted. So negative 7, because it's negative 3 minus 4. So anyway, that was kind of the resource page in the practice from last time. Yep. Yep. And then we're going to turn to resource page. Woo. I just want to show you, I want to plant the seed on the exponent properties, and we're going to practice them on Monday. Was this the page you needed? You need the top part? 1 through 6. Sure. We're going to resource, I think we're on 4.3, aren't we? 4.3 and 4.4. It's just a lot of rules, and I don't expect you to memorize a bunch of rules. So if you forget the rules, I'm going to show you how you can figure the rule out if you forget it. So this first one is called the product rule. So you might have seen this before in Algebra 1, I'm not sure. But how can I figure out a rule? Let's write out what x to the 5th actually means. X to the 5th means x is getting multiplied by itself 5 times, right? What does x cubed mean? It means x is getting multiplied by itself 3 times. So see how you can just write out the problem with all the x's? X to the 5th just means x times x times x times x times x. How many x's are now being multiplied all together? Because just because I put a dot here for multiplication, I could actually put a dot in between each and every x, right? I'm just multiplying the x's together. That's x to the 8th power. Can you come up with a rule? What did I just do? I added the 5 plus the 3. So I could rewrite this as, if you're multiplying 2 exponents together, you add the exponents together. That's kind of the shortcut rule. If you forget the rule, just write it out for yourself and count how many x's you would have. Thanks, turning that in. Perfect. Somehow I didn't hit unpause. So here is resource page 4.3. And I showed my repeated multiplication for the quotient rule. And then I somehow didn't press it for this page. Here's the power rule. So you can kind of write it down and maybe pause the video if you need more time to write it. And the last one was the negative exponent rule. And I'm going to write the 0 exponent rule so I know I finished this one. So on this one, anything to the 0 power is 1. And I want to show you why. Because when I cancel my a's, everything cancels. And anything divided by itself is 1. And 3 minus 3 is 0. So it's showing that the 0 power is the same as canceling everything and getting 1. So 12 to the 0 power is 1. This thing to the 0 power is 1. And anything to the 0 power is 1. The end.